Aaron Torres is with us here. Let's talk with him about this game. AT, I mean, this should be, I don't know, best game of the weekend probably. And from your perspective, from a lot of people's perspective, you might look at it on the betting line specifically and say, look, Arkansas, for one thing, under Sam Pittman covers. But we here in Arkansas are looking for a win because no 9-game losing streak to a hated rival ends by just covering the spread. So do you think Arkansas's got what it takes to cover the spread and win?
Well, I do, Phil. And first of all, let's get one thing straight. We don't rush the field because we win big games now with Arkansas football. That was a 2 weeks ago thing.
Expect it.
Now we expect to win these games. Okay, so let's get that straight right away. But yeah, no, listen, it's weird because sometimes you guys know me. I like to bring a unique perspective, and I think I do my homework, all that stuff. But sometimes my perspective is kind of what everybody else's perspective is that frankly, I think there's probably more questions about A&M coming into this game. And I think it comes down to, which team runs the football better, which quarterback makes the fewer mistakes. And so, there is no great analysis from me that you're going to hear that you haven't heard anywhere else. That's what I think it comes down to. And to your point, Phil, I don't think I'm the only person on the planet. I think most people, even outside of Arkansas, believes that Arkansas has a great chance to win this game. Sometimes you see a close spread like this under a touchdown, and you think, well, it'll be close, but the team that's favored, they're not losing. I think everybody kind of feels like Arkansas can win this game. They got to do all the things that you need to do to win big games. But I'm with you, Phil, is this feels like one that if Arkansas plays what Arkansas football has been under Sam Pittman, there's no reason they can't leave Jerry World with a win on Saturday.
Yeah, you definitely feel more confident, I think, this week going into A&M than you did 2 weeks ago against Texas. A lot of the comments we were getting on our text line and from callers, well, man, wouldn't it be nice? It'd be great to get that win over Texas. Wouldn't it be nice? A lot of those type of comments. And this week it's been when we beat A&M. But that confidence has gotten into the program and into the fan base. And if just from I know maybe the blinders are on, but just being here, it feels like it's expected, like you're supposed to win.
Well, Drew, I know you're somewhat new to the market. I know Arkansas and Memphis are right next door. Sky is falling straight to we're the best thing on the planet is pretty much the Arkansas mentality I have learned through the years. So I am not at all surprised that is the reaction. But listen, part of it is, look, and I'm joking obviously, but it's the combination. Look, if you beat Texas, it's one thing. They physically kicked the crap out of Texas. We all know that. We talked about it a week after. You guys talked about it probably 5 straight days after that game. But it wasn't just that you beat Texas. There are games that you win even against a ranked opponent that you sit there and say, yeah, but, this could have happened or that penalty. No, that was a convincing, dominating win. And you look at an A&M team that right now I think is still trying to figure out their identity, at least on the offensive side of the football. I'm not surprised that Arkansas fans feel good coming into this game. Now, it's going to take, a similar effort to what we saw against Texas a few weeks ago. It's going to take the same type of, I believe, game plan in terms of running the ball, controlling lines of scrimmage, things like that. But I can see where Arkansas fans are confident. I do a lot of radio interviews all over the country, and there's sometimes where I kind of scratch my head and say, if that's how you feel, I'm not going to tell you no, but you might be in for a rude awakening. This is one, I don't feel that way, guys. I think if they do what they're supposed to do, there's no reason they can't come out again with a win here on Saturday.
That pretty much, Drew, describes the last, not the last year, but definitely Chad Morris's 2 years, because Aaron's been on halftime with us since the start of the show. AT, I think back during the Morris years, we probably talked about the Arkansas game for 30 seconds before, because you kind of knew it was going to happen. So it's nice to live in a different reality.
Funny. Phil, I was thinking, Arkansas starts 4-0 this Saturday. That totals the entire win total of the Chad Morris era.
That's right.
So,
right.
I obviously doing the prep work for all my podcasts and radio shows and coming out with you guys, that was a little fun factoid that I came across. So, again, a 4-0 start might not mean something some places. I think it's huge here. And listen, A&M's a good team. We shouldn't take away what they've done under Jimbo Fisher. But you get this win, there is a lot of excitement coming in. Let me ask you guys a question now. I want to turn it on you if I have a few minutes.
Ooh, okay. This is fun.
Okay, let's put Bama aside because Bama's Bama. And I guess, you guys play Georgia too, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
I feel like Ole Miss right now is the team that everybody's like they play at Bama next week, and I'm telling you, the people in Bama are terrified of them. And I kind of have this kind of half-baked theory of, you can prepare for what A&M does. It's kind of standard. You can prepare for what Auburn does. I don't even know what LSU does right now. You can't prepare for – I just feel like Ole Miss is the SEC team. Bama is Bama. Georgia is Georgia. But in terms of the team that I think every fan base is a little bit like I think Arkansas fans feel confident about how they match up with A&M, how they match up with LSU, how they match up with Auburn. Do you guys feel confident about Ole Miss? And I know it's down the road because they just strike me as the team in the SEC that everybody is just kind of looking at a side-eye with saying, I have no idea how we match up with that team.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of that. And part of it is that you just – are you going to get Matt Corral to throw another 6 interceptions? Is that going to happen again?
How hungover are you going to be after Georgia the week before?
Well, and that's part of it, but it's also a sense that Arkansas right now is a team offensively that looks like they could keep up with a lot of teams. Defensively they can slow some teams down. Ole Miss, though, and I agree with you, Aaron, they just have so many weapons that it feels like both of those things, slowing them down and keeping up with them, is really difficult to do.
It's going to be hard.
And that goes into, the next thing of you mentioned Arkansas plays Georgia. This next 3-game stretch, you find out what Arkansas is made about because it's A&M, Georgia, then Mississippi. All of them on the road. I don't think there's another tougher stretch in college football for anybody.
That is a gauntlet.
Yeah, you're going to know what this team's made of after these next 3 weeks. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting, by the way, and we could learn a lot about Ole Miss against Alabama. If Saban somehow comes up with the blueprint, maybe that helps Barry Odom and Sam Pittman. But, I think Saban also didn't have the answers last year, and they did have to essentially outscore them. I think the final score was like 62-48 or something like that in that game. But, yeah, it's just interesting, right? I think everybody kind of feels like, okay, this is how we have to play to beat Auburn. This is how we have to play to beat A&M. I don't think anybody has any idea what exactly they have to do, except, as you said, Phil, you're probably going to have to score 50 to beat Ole Miss, and it might be possible. The defense just might not be very good because I don't know how good Tulane and Louisville really are. But, I just sit there and say, man, they're to me, one of the more interesting teams. But as we said, Arkansas's got 2 big games before they play them, and we'll figure out, just how dangerous they are when they play Alabama next week. But it was just a thought I've had a lot this week is like, everyone knows what Alabama can do, but Ole Miss is the one that's like just the total wild card. And I guess maybe it's symbolic with their head coach, but they're just like the total wild card. I don't think anybody really knows what to make of them right now.
Yeah, that's a big question mark for me. What is this offense going to look like against an actual SEC defense there, AT? But tell me about the other top 25 matchup, Notre Dame versus Wisconsin at Soldier Field. How do you see that one playing out?
Ooh, that's another good one. It's a good one from the perspective that I think we're going to learn a lot. Notre Dame, 3-0, easily could be 0-3, easily could be 1-2. And, but I think Wisconsin's another one that I think we're going to learn a ton about as well. What's interesting about Wisconsin, guys, is, there's a little bit of a – their quarterback, Graham Mertz, I'm getting a little bit of a Spencer Rattler vibe in the fact that he was probably anointed a little bit too quickly. So this stat blows me away. First game last year, Big Ten comes back late in the year. Everybody's eyes are on the Big Ten. Graham Mertz, opening night, throws 5 touchdown passes, okay? Since that game, now he got COVID, he had to miss some time, blah, 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 this and that. Since that game, I think he's played in 6 or 7 games. 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions since throwing 5 touchdowns in that first game. And so, everyone's just kind of handing this one to Wisconsin. I don't know that I trust that guy. And so, I don't know that I trust that guy. Notre Dame, they have work to do. I don't think they're very good right now, but that's one that I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I think it could be a little bit more high scoring. And then I'll tell you this, guys. You talk about how big next week is for Arkansas. Next week, Wisconsin, Michigan. So even if Wisconsin wins this game, I think we're going to learn a lot about Michigan and Wisconsin next week. So it's that fun time of year, guys. I don't believe there's such a thing as a bad weekend in college football because crazy stuff always happens the weekends when you least expect them. But we're starting to get to that point in the year where there's going to start to be some separation in these leagues. Because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of teams that look really good in the SEC. There's a lot of teams that look really good in the Big Ten. I think over these next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to start to find out a lot more about a lot of them.
Hey, AT, 30 seconds if you can. Nick Smith announces his college basketball team that he's playing for on Wednesday. When we talk again on Friday, you think he's a Razorback?
I said it on Tuesday. It feels very bizarre to do a public gathering to do the announcement in the state of Arkansas if you're not picking Arkansas. So we'll see who'll pick Suey. I don't know, though.
Yeah, same place that Moses Moody made his announcement as well.
Thanks,
AT,
guys.
appreciate you, man. Hey, have a great day. Great weekend watching college football. We know you will. All right, we'll wrap the first hour up after the break. 877-377-6963. Live at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas in Fort Smith. We're right there at Highway 71. Come out, grab a hot dog, and learn about ways that you can finance recreational land so you can have some fun outdoors, hunting, fishing, and all the like. And the second hour of halftime coming up soon. Stay with us.
We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back to start another football season. And as always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the college and pro football action this season. With a new updated site and interface and even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything college football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use the promo code NFL100. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.